K, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit that notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video or go live. And in today's video, we are going to be doing another comic book review on the final issue of the newest Deadpool and Wolverine miniseries, Deadpool and Wolverine WW3 issue 3. So we are here at the finale of this newest miniseries for Deadpool and Wolverine, and it certainly is one of the comic books of all time. Certainly a comic where comic book writers wrote, artists drew pictures, pages were turned, and then it was over. Certainly, truly a spectacle, actually. So, yes, I also highly recommend you guys go and check out the previous two comic book reviews me and Professor Savage that did on Deadpool and Wolverine WW3. Also, if you want to check out his YouTube channel or Rumble channel or Twitter, I'm going to leave all that stuff linked in the description box below. But now let's get into reviewing the final issue of Deadpool and Wolverine WW3 issue 3. So how would I start? Okay, start off like this. This definitely was something to push the latest Deadpool and Wolverine MCU movie, which has now grossing over $1 billion at the worldwide box office. Definitely has been a smash hit for the MCU. But was this a smash hit? Definitely not. This was actually pretty terrible. And we even did, actually after we did the review for issue 2 of this last Sunday, because you guys are watching this on the following Sunday, obviously, because that's when we were recording the video live. We actually looked at the ICV2 numbers for this. This series fell off a complete cliff, actually, after issue 1, pretty much. And there was really no one there for this one. I'm pretty sure this one was at like what ish it was ranked number 23, so you could tell people were already trying to check out of this series. And
it's
right
just
here,
surprising, as well as the movie was doing, dude, that it just fell off like that, man. It's
there's even an ad to start off with, there's even an ad right here for Deadpool Wolverine right when you open issue 3.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like I said, even before, you could tell this was supposed to be coming out before the movie. And since this movie opened July 26th, that means that this would have came out the Wednesday before. And does this end the series off with a satisfying conclusion? Because it's only a 3-part miniseries. And it's like, there's just so much. I don't even know what was my favorite issue in this series. I would probably have to say maybe issue 2. A lot of people's common sentiment that I looked up was maybe issue 2 was the best one of the series. And as you guys know, Joe Kelly is going to be writing on The Amazing Spider-Man coming up because, you know, they had to fire the god writer that is Zeb Wells, obviously, the greatest comic writer of all time, next to Tom King. So let's start it here. Yeah. They do the vertical double page ass spread quite consistently in this to end it off too. So if you were a fan of that, you do get a lot of that, actually. And this one does it more than the other books. So I'll just kind of start it off right here. I know Savage, I'd like to talk about the art and everything else. The art still is very good. I do think Adam Kubert definitely showed up to work and definitely put out a really, really good job, honestly. You know, I do personally feel like he did really good on the art specifically. There's many great double page spreads where these certain panels, given how uncolored they are, really show off the scene and dynamic and the atmosphere and all that stuff. But as far as like, how would I start? Villain. Let's start with the villain. The villain's Delta, obviously. The villain is just super anticlimactic. Like, he was basically put here to be set up for maybe a future, to be a future villain of a X-Men title. Because as you guys know, this book came out around the time where the new X-Men launch came out, where it was X-Men from the ashes from the beginning. So Marvel suddenly confirming with this X-Men relaunch that the X-Men titles had been already pretty much burned to the ground and dead by their terrible choices they've been making with the X-Men comics, actually, you know, because why would their tagline for the relaunch be from the ashes? Guys, you know, from the ashes means like it's burnt, it's done, right? But obviously that's a Phoenix reference because
Yeah.
Phoenix is rise from the ashes, obviously, and they have a new Jean Grey title out. But I was just making a joke there. So I'm gonna be honest here. I really just disliked the villain here even more. Like he was cool in issue 1 and 2 as being a mysterious figure, but in issue 3, he's just nothing. He's just info dumping trash. And the dialogue he has is good in like one page and one part that I'll go over in a second. Other than that, it's nothing. Just an absolute just meh, average, mediocre villain, just straight up worthless. Like, what was he here for? You know? Like, I just don't understand. Like, his power set is really, he could just project stuff and make you think they're there, and it just isn't really ever explained very well. And it's just later on, you never really got the idea about why did he pay these guys to watch them. It's just it's just super confusing. This is a really, really weird way of finishing off the title. Like, oh god, I also think that Deadpool gets the absolute raw end of the stick in this series. This is mostly just a glorified Wolverine series from start to I thought in this final book,
Deadpool.
Yeah, I generally thought in this final book we get some like actual Deadpool Wolverine clash, but that doesn't even happen until like the final pages when Deadpool finally is back in his classic costume and they team up, and it's like,
no, I definitely have a.
What about you, man? What do you think
about that
so far?
So, like I always say, the art. Adam Kubert has always been a great artist. I mean, his dad is legendary Joe Kubert. So, if you don't know that, you should. He was raised by a guy who was a great artist, and he's following up with it. You know, hopefully, maybe he's got a son that's doing the same. Who knows? But yeah, you got the 2-page things here. The panel work is good. The intro page is good. The Deadpool setup thing was good. The fight scenes good. You know, everything's worked out well. You get to see a lot of interesting things here. You know, the action is good. It's nice to follow. You can definitely tell that Hubert's been doing this for a while. And in all honesty, though, he disappeared. I didn't know that he was still doing books. I know he's bounced around at Marvel and DC a bit, but like the guy's page rate is probably pretty hardcore. This monster, I still don't know if this monster is a fucking monster that is,
or is it it's a projection? It has to be a projection.
This is the thing. Delta, this is like one of the most throwaway ass villains I've seen in a long time. Like, this is worse than shit that we bitch about in the Rippaverse and their villains. That, like, their villains at least have a defined power set to some extent. And you, other than Yaira, which we still don't know, you have no idea what the fuck his motive is here. I'm gonna make them better. Like,
yeah, the motive is basically he wanted to put them into a situation where he wanted to draw out the berserker rage in Wolverine and make him actually that as Wolverine. And it's like, oh, okay, I can understand that. But the problem with that is that you can kind of tell the twist is coming. So basically, that page you have on right there. So so coming up from the last issue, he's fighting that big projection. Well, you don't know it's projection yet, but he's fighting this big villain. Deadpool's been ripped in half. Keep in mind, the villain stomped Wolverine into the same blood pool that Deadpool was in for the last issue, which is going to carry over in a bit. Yep. And then after that, basically he keeps fighting, and then Delta tells them, just let your true self out. And they're obviously the true self of Wolverine. Obviously, you see that berserker inside of him. And then later on, it comes to a point where, because, Delta wants to test out their healing factor, and then the monster that's projected there rips an entire bone flesh off of him. It's really gruesome. I say the action from all 3 books has been very top tier. Like, if you're just getting this for the action, it's very, very good.
If you're just looking to look at a fight scene and everything else, but like, it doesn't make any fun. The problem is like, you have no idea what the fuck this Delta guy's power set is. He's completely meaningless. What is his actual motive? You've got the people in the background watching shit, and you're like, and what's with his face and his visor? You don't really see much of the weird Greta Thunberg looking chick. I think her name was Greta, and her weird teleportation power. She just does it. They just use teleportation as like a plot device to move something along somewhere else. It's like, completely throwaway character. Frankly, I think the villain is somewhat of a throwaway character as well. This monster
Yeah.
had more effect on the whole fucking scenario. But, and this is the thing, this like, oh, we're gonna send Wolverine into a rage. Like, motherfucker, better villains have done this before.
Yeah.
Fucking Shadow King, fucking Magneto, like the Sebastian
Sabretooth
Shaw,
could get
like
it out of him probably.
Sabretooth. Well, not even just that, like any psychic, anybody with psionic ability has done
Yeah.
this to Wolverine before. Like,
Mhm.
this is such a retread fucking idea with
Yeah.
Wolverine about, oh, is he a man or a monster? And maybe we've just been reading it for so fucking long that, like, I'm so tread with that story with Wolverine that's like, this is a path through the forest that everybody, literally every fucking writer has walked before. In fact, Joe Kelly wrote X-Men for a while back in the day. If he didn't tread that fucking path with Wolverine at some point, I'd be surprised. I gotta dig my books up and dig my books out and see if I could find it.
I
Some of the
thought you
stuff,
just said I gotta go dig my wife out.
bruh, you would always think about that. But
Oh,
yeah, like the so going on, some, again, the art, a lot of the story gets told with the art. It looks really good. You get the book.
that's a pivotal moment right there because his wording, because for some reason that villain's there and it's never really explicitly stated, like, is he talking, is that villain speaking, or is it like he's talking in some sort of like speaker form? So basically he kind of gets Wolverine to really unlock his berserker rage or whatever, like, and at that point Wolverine finally gives in because he feels like he's, at the point where it's at no return,
Yeah,
because it's frozen, he hasn't eaten, he thinks Deadpool's
yeah,
dead, he thinks everything is basically done. And then when he's fully about to just straight up rage out against the monster, you see Deadpool grow out of his back.
yeah,
Because in the previous issue, people forget the monster stomped Wolverine into the ground where Deadpool's body was ripped in half at least the top half, and then the blood was dripping out of him. And then apparently Deadpool can now grow out of Wolverine's back as a regenerative healing factor. That's crazy. That's just
yeah.
weird.
Healing back from even just the blood. Like, I think the whole reason that this mini series exists was to give you a few things here.
Mhm.
This right here, this is so Adam Kubert could have this artwork done. Yeah, Adam. I always mix it up with his brother Andy, and so he could get this 2-page spread of Wolverine, really cool looking. You've got the bone arm and the normal arm, like this red rage. This is just so he can show off as an artist. This is
Oh
just
yeah.
the sketch he wanted to make.
Can't wait to
So
pick
that's
up
one reason
Dazzler.
the series exists. The series also existed for this 2-page spread right here to show that Deadpool and thusly then Wolverine could be almost completely regrown even from their blood. Now, how does his conscience stay with him and everything else? I don't know. It's weird. I'm not going to shite it off. It's interesting. It did make for a fun dynamic for a few pages, but it still does just go to show to the point
Cool
that
little interesting concept, but I think
yeah,
they go for
he
too
was
much of
funny.
that. Like, it's that weird out of the crazy superhero humor where it's like, well, if our bodies were emergent, it's like that's kind of cool. It's like a funny gimmick, but like in the whole
Yeah.
storyline.
So, well, I mean, it's kind of at the end a bit here. I mean, but again, also, you just don't really get to see and deal with a lot of Deadpool in this book. You got the first few pages of the first book, then you got whatever the fuck. This is the thing. I still go back to issue 2 and I don't understand, or issue 1. You had the weird guy with the crazy powers go nuts. Were the powers given to him? Were they amped up? Like, how did that happen? Then you had what he did to Deadpool. What did he do to Deadpool exactly? All of a sudden, Deadpool's got energy blades shooting out of him and other shit. Like, and how does that make Deadpool better? And it's so fucking convoluted. The whole story is so asininely convoluted that
Yeah. And
I
the first
stand
part of
by.
like Deadpool having that procedure doesn't even mean anything now. That just means nothing.
Yeah, the
Or
whole all of issue 2 for the most part is completely invalidated by this issue. This is why I'm saying I stand by after finishing this book or this miniseries. Sorry, where'd
Mhm.
my thing go here? This miniseries is absolutely been truncated for some reason. it was meant to be 5 or 6 issues.
Probably
They
was
should have had
better.
it
Yeah.
through when the movie was out. They would have been able to flesh things out. They could have explained some of this shit. There are whole chunks of a story here
Yeah,
that
and
are completely
this
fucking
part
wrong.
right
You
here.
can't understand.
So this is the part where I was bringing up earlier about it being a projection, because I know people are like, "What are you talking about?" So that villain that was there, and this is where you know there's chunks of the story out of there. So come to find out, when they were in this like frozen tundra that they were dropped in from at the end of issue 1 and all through issue 2, when they were physically saying to us that they were frozen, they had no food, they were hungry, come to find out, they were just here, right there. It was all an illusion.
Well,
Wait,
they got.
that doesn't make any
I think
sense.
she moved. Did she move them there? I thought there was a scene where like he fucking teleported.
I didn't see it personally. There's nothing
the
there.
annoying thing with teleportation as a plot device. They like do it on one panel, and then the next panel you're somewhere else, and you're like,
all of a sudden we're supposed to
You're like,
believe that it was just a projection. All of that. Wait a minute. There's something in the story missing. There's no way I'm gonna believe that after what happened in issue 2. I also believe in issue 2 that basically the point of getting Wolverine to act like that was to get him to rage out, to basically just go on a berserker killing mode. But how would he not feel he's in a projection? Wait,
watch him.
I know his power set. He probably can't know if he's in a psychotic trance or another psychotic person's trap. But they were literally saying to us they were there for weeks on end, frozen and hungry. How would they not feel that? Like Deadpool somehow knew. Deadpool's like, just, take it easy. Nothing's going on. I don't know what the hell's supposed to go up in here. It's just one of the weirdest, dumbest, awful twists ever. Issue 2 guys told us they were somewhere for about a month and 2 weeks, literally basically dying. And then now kind of find out they weren't ever there, and it was just a ploy to basically get Wolverine to rage out. And Deadpool tells him, "Hey, your worst fear is not happening. It's fine. Like, you're not a monster." Guys, there's way better ways of writing that. That was terrible. This is a terrible fucking twist.
So then you get here, and it's all Deadpool is therapying Wolverine for a minute, and it's like, okay, now we've got more of Deadpool. Really, you're stretching like the boundaries of Deadpool's personality traits here a little bit.
His personality was terrible.
You should know better.
In the
book. This is where she came in and teleported them out of nowhere with the weird mouth teleportation shit. And at that point, like, this is where it basically ends. Then you've got this guy here, and he's got a bunch of people in masks. Something about the Colby operation is complete. I don't even know what okay, maybe they're definitely here at the end of this series attempting to allude to something, but what? Because I don't know that anybody's going to have cared enough. And then you've got these two guys here. You got this. You got like probably the best kind of bits of the whole book here, of the whole series. Is right here. You've got Wolverine and Deadpool in costume as normal. I do like it's kind of funny that the whole thing, Deadpool getting shot in the ear here at the end. That's a little topical for something that they didn't know would be topical at the time, I suppose. They've gone back to apparently giving you the free digital issue thing here.
Yeah, because this was before
Scarlet Spider back. Is Ben right or no? Is Kane back as Scarlet Spider?
I think so. He died again. So
yeah,
right there at that part you were talking about, Delta, I don't know what happens here. So he doesn't kill the people who were watching in that society. He just kind of teleports himself away, and then we see in a reflection that he has all these other mind-controlled slaves, and it's like, why do you need someone to watch you to pay you? Because remember, they were like, I'll offer you millions to get them. He's like, no.
Yeah.
What was all this for then?
Yeah, none of it makes any fucking sense, dude. I'm telling you right now, there are 2 issues, maybe 3 issues of this series that never got published because they just decided. And what really is annoying, this annoys the crap out of me. You've got like this ending here that they don't really tell you. They don't give you any clue that it's an end. So I flip the page here and I'm just like, okay, are we done? What's going on? And then you go here and you've got in memoriam. So apparently a production designer passed away, which is sad.
Yeah,
but then you've got Then you got just this poster here.
Vertical, another vertical page
Poster.
at the very end.
All right, well,
like this right here doesn't need to be vertical. It's sad this person passed away. I'm not talking about this person, but this right here. That needs to be a stand picture as the last one. Why is this vertical? I have no clue what was the obsession with this issue in particular with all these vertical splash pages.
Well, there was just so much of it, but like it was
this would be so much better if it was just like this.
It could have been just a different aspect ratio, though. Not even the aspect ratio would have changed.
Right here, the thing you were just talking about. Why do I have these ads right here when there's one page of the story left? Just give me the other page then. Finish the story off.
So weird because you've got the memoriam. Like, in all honesty, if you got to that point where the ad was and the little digital comic thing was, you could just stop. You never even would have seen the guy's memoriam because people always go to that and be like, "Oh, it's a double page ad." Well, the book seemed like it ended there with Deadpool getting shot in the ear. We're good. We're out. We're done.
Oh, like, another problem with the story, dude, that I found out
while I was
going through this, which was, wait a minute. If he at one point, later on, when he doesn't want to send them the money for how much they're worth or whatever, then they send all those soldiers to kill them. If we're in a projection, why didn't he just send all those people to begin with and kill them? I really just don't know. Why were we relying on one mod? Apparently, if they were so weak from this, they had enough strength to completely just maul down people. I don't know what the hell's happening here. They tried to go for this like big twist. Apparently, they weren't never really there. They were apparently starving and killing each. I don't know what the hell this was. It's just so fucking weird. There was some cool dialogue toward the very end when Deadpool was able to suit up, but I really just didn't understand what was Deadpool's purpose in the book. This first double page spread with Deadpool having this monologue about like the operation he went through for issue 1. None of it really ever comes full circle.
I didn't explain anything either. That's the thing. It didn't even make a point out of explaining anything. Yeah. This is the thing that's really starting to frustrate me with comic books these days. I don't need everything explained, but eventually you've got to like fucking explain something. If you've got 3 issues, could you make fucking sense out of some of it? With the villain? Like what is going on here? What is
so much confliction?
What is his power set?
So we're supposed to understand that basically he wanted to basically test out how strong their healing factor was, make them maul each other for a rich society to watch, then have them pay him for whatever they're going to be worth after they apparently kill each other, which they wouldn't be worth anything. And these people already know that they can heal from basically blood cells, so they really can't kill each other. They're just paying to watch them maul each other. Guys, I'm not even telling you this is confusing. This is actually how it's going. Then another part is like, oh, fucking hell, this is so stupid. There's another part where basically Delta wanted Wolverine to really just go on a berserker rage. What's the point of him going on a berserker rage and killing people? Oh, because they would basically like watching that. I just don't get it at all. Crazy.
Yeah, I don't know, dude.
So many conflictions with this villain. It's absolutely just terrible.
The villain is trash. The little Greta Thunberg chick also trash. Like completely replaceable, completely duplicative villains. It's like he wants to be Arcade and the Hellfire Club all at the same time. His motivations are retreads of other motivations, like a very similar motivations with Wolverine too. It's like this isn't like his first rodeo of somebody having done this to him before. It's been, I mean, shit, his whole origin was kind of this shit getting done to him, but like it's been iteratively done to him multiple times over the years. It's not interesting or new, and it's not even interesting or new to do it to Deadpool or include Deadpool in it. If you had, this is a Wolverine miniseries featuring Deadpool.
Yeah,
they may have given Deadpool.
What was the WW3 thing for? The WW3 thing was just such a stupid branding.
You know, it was really you know why they did it? It was one to kind of like, oh, we're going into World War III. We're going to capitalize on this idea in the zeitgeist. But it was also that stupid fucking joke from last issue with Wolverine or Wade Wilson III, which completely fucking dropped it in this book.
They dropped that idea quick. That idea was
Oh, dude,
gone.
they didn't do. These books didn't even come out till all 3 of these had been written and were completely fucking lettered and done. Like this series has been done since like this time last year, probably. And they just held on to it. But what they did is they chopped 3 issues of it out, or 2 issues of it out, or something. So that Wade Wilson the third thing probably actually got some sort of like fucking fleshing out.
This really should have just been 5 issues. Yeah. For me, this probably should have been five issues because 3 is just not enough, especially with the ideas they were trying to flesh out. The ideas they were trying to flesh out were just needed more time.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, it was 5 issues. And what they did is they editorialed it down. Editorial cut through this with probably, hopefully, the writer's help. Maybe not. I don't know. Because it reads like a book that has major holes throughout it to condense it down to 3 issues. So they chopped whole pieces of it out and tried to stitch it back together so it made at least a little bit of sense in some instances. There's some really good dialogue between Wolverine and Wade Wilson, or whatever the thing is at the time. There's a really fun gimmick in here with Deadpool growing back from blood cells as part of Wolverine. Entertaining. I get it. I got a chuckle out of it. I thought it was something I hadn't seen before between the 2 characters. And in a book where the whole premise is a retread of a retread of a retread with a villain that is so hollow, just retreading other villains' ideologies or motives and other things, but with a different aesthetic than normal. I mean, the Hellfire vibes. Hellfire Club vibes are very strong with the dude.
Yeah.
I think they even did that kind of shit to Wolverine at one point. I think Emma Frost.
It's just in his power set. It's supposed to be basically he's projecting something strong enough so you fear it, so you're going all out, and it's so strong that it projects a different setting.
They didn't establish that he's a psychic, so I'm assuming they made it seem that shit was being done with technological means, but they don't explain any of it, even a little bit. You have no clue what the fuck the villain is doing. It's just doing stuff, and they're giving him powers
toward the end of the book
to further the plot along.
Toward the end of the book, he just leaves. It's just gone, and now he has this other group of or society people that he's mutants. I imagine mutants that he's made better in his image. I really couldn't honestly.
And the other part of it that's weird is that like there was no resolution between him and Wolverine and Deadpool. And Wolverine and Deadpool are both the type of characters that would have been looking for blood from this guy.
Yeah. And they just were like, yeah.
Oh well. That's it. Here they are again, jumping in. Here's a jump ending or whatever,
Modern writing, everybody. That's our modern writing right there.
Joe Kelly was better than that in his youth. And
sorry. Wolverine did mention it toward the very end, but he said Delta was taking the show on the road.
Yeah, no, I know that he said that, but it's like that would. So are Wolverine and Deadpool going to hunt
them extracting revenge? Yeah, because if you're thinking about Deadpool Wolverine, they're gonna want to take revenge and lop this guy's head off, and they're like, oh, okay, he's gone now, but he's laying low, and it's like, well, no shit, Sherlock. Of course he's gonna lay low. He's trying to kill you both.
And they don't even explain. This is the thing; it ends, and they don't really like. One, nothing's explained. It's so anticlimactic because nothing happens with the villain. Nothing happens with Deadpool and Wolverine. Deadpool just kind of separates himself. Doesn't even finish separating himself from Wolverine. He just pops the next page, and he's in costume, and the both of them are standing there defeating more of these guys. Deadpool's back in costume, all this other shit, and it's just like you didn't say anything. Like did this end? Was that an ending? No, the ending
is the end.
The ending has both the best art and the worst part of the story because
worst writing.
There's no ending. Nothing ended there. Nothing was resolved. There was no
end. It has the worst ending. Some of the best, obviously the best art, and the worst story. Like the storytelling in this ending is absolutely atrocious.
The ending.
They're going for this they're going for this like M. Night Shyamalan twist, and it's like, bro, maybe I didn't pick up that he was a psychic, But in issue 2, it kind of felt like they were in somewhere real. Maybe that was the trick, and they subverted my expectations, and I didn't know. But that twist was trash. I'm saying.
Oh yeah. Well, also like the good twists were the good parts of it were Deadpool growing out of Wolverine. That was creative. I got to give him that. That was interesting. I haven't seen somebody do that with the healing factor before, so it was good to kind of see that defined, and it made for an interesting set of interactions between Wolverine and Deadpool for a little bit. And then you just basically jump from that to the end of the book. Like you don't.
Yeah, there's the therapeutic Deadpool
They beat up some bad guys.
dialogue, which is
You're
cool.
only a monster.
Yeah, when Deadpool and Wolverine or any like when he's trying to coach him out of like getting out of that rage, that was kind of cool. There is some decent moments here. The art really stands out, and the dialogue is pretty just dialogue's hit or miss generally. Who you're talking about, like so forth. This is probably one of my favorite pages of the book right here. He was gonna go when he was feeling he was gonna completely go all out. I don't know. I mean, you guys know me. I don't really give ratings for stuff like this. If you were interested in this because you were a fan of Deadpool and Wolverine as characters and you like them teaming up, this is a completely waste of a story for both. This is a issue where it's just super botched and chopped up, and the story is just all over the place. I would say if you're interested in this, if you like these characters teaming up, just wait for the trade. You don't have to go hunting back issues for this. You won't have to because this is going to be on clearance sale in about right now. So you can probably get these all for $1. These are literally dollar bin comics that you can get right now.
I'm going to tell you right now, if you want to go read Wolverine and Deadpool, go pick up the Deadpool Wolverine paperback where they had Larry Hama. Adam Kubert actually had done art in this before, so Adam Kubert was there, but Larry Hama did stuff in this. It's Deadpool versus Wolverine. They released it back in March, but it's got issues of Wolverine where they met up, Cable and Deadpool where they met up, Wolverine Origins, Wolverine and Deadpool the Decoy.
Maybe you could get this Wolverine series done by Saladin Ahmed. He's the current writer on Daredevil right now. Maybe this will be strong because even toward the very end of the book, like I feel like the ads were just. I don't mind comics having ads. I don't. But they were so misplaced here. They were coming out.
Oh, yeah. It's a complete and utter distraction. Then you've got a single page, a giant single paneled page of them jump ending basically like into nothing because you don't know what's going on.
This is the last page, people. This art is good. This is a great piece of art.
Yeah.
Why is it not like standing up? Why is it
also, what sense does it make to put it there though? It's a good piece of art, but that's what it is. It isn't even in the story. It does nothing. The whole ending of it is...
witty dialogue. Wolverine can't say he loves you because he just says, fuck you. Cool.
The ending sucked because there wasn't an ending. And I can say right now, like, you can skip this. There's nothing here.
Just wait for the trade. Just wait for the trade. The trade comes out in October.
The trade is on Amazon for $14 right now to pre-order, but you don't even need you don't. Even if you're a really big fan of both of these characters, you don't need this story for anything. This is 100% cross marketing with a movie. If this is 3 issues for real, they did not put the effort into this that they would have for a real book. This was done as promotion for the Deadpool and Wolverine movie, so you would see it on the shelf when you go to the comic book store and remember that the movie's coming out. The movie didn't even bring this book up. Nobody gave a shit about this book because
Marvel didn't promote it. And Marvel's never really ever did that anyway. DC's been better with that recently, but Marvel's been very bad at always tying in their comics to their new movies coming out. And that's the thing with this. Basically, or back in the day for superhero movies, we would get those tie-in video games that would always be more or less so dog shit. That's what this kind of is. It's like a weird, random movie tie-in book, and it doesn't even tie into the new X-Men launch. This doesn't even tie into that. This is just Deadpool Wolverine. Cool. What else we got here? Nothing. Just. I would just say this. There's no reason to hunt back issues for this. You could probably find these all for $1 in like a month or two. But if you really wanted to get it, the trade does drop. It drops on October something 2024. Just get this in a trade. Or actually, just don't get the trade. Burn it. Actually, burn all these issues too.
You don't need to burn it because the
You know,
art
you
is
know it's gonna be cold. It's gonna be cold. Use it as campfire fluid.
Now, see, this is something. This is like, my rating scale of is it going to go on the shelf because I want to be able to get it and reference it? Nah, I'm never going to reference this for anything unless we're talking about movie tie-in comics that were
Bad.
mediocre AF. Is this going in the long box? Probably. I'll just toss it in the long box. It'll go live in there. I'd say that I'd ditch it or give it away, but I don't think it's a good enough example of either character to give it away. I don't care for the way the story ended. I like some of the characterization of them throughout the book in bits and pieces. That's why I'm saying it's mediocre. It's clear that Joe Kelly gets the characters, and I know for a fact the man can write a story from before, but something happened to this book because it feels like it's been stitched together from a larger story that has an ending and explains crap going on and talks about this new villain and kind of fleshes out his power set and his motivations beyond guy in house with people with money in Russia, projecting or using telepathy or nano drones or something to do something to people that makes them do stuff. Like, we don't even know why the last guy went crazy. The very first guy at the beginning of the book. Like, what happened to him and then what happened to Deadpool?
Yeah, they never actually even showed you the experiment of the Wade Wilson III. It's just
No.
yeah.
Well, that's the thing. They didn't explain why it was Wade Wilson
nonsense
III either.
trash, dude. That's really all it is. Just
yeah.
I really don't know what to feel.
It doesn't make sense.
This is probably even worse than issue 2 because at least issue 2 you could tell they were maybe going somewhere with a banger of a finale, given the little small setup. This is why
this is the best art.
Yeah, what
of the book, but it's not. It is the worst story portion of the book simply because it leaves everything up in the air. It doesn't finish anything.
The twist is terrible.
The only thing you get out of it that's worthwhile in the story, is the Wolverine Deadpool regeneration arc. It's basically the last third of the book or last quarter of the book, and then that's it. That's all you really got out of it. Like, it took 3 issues to get to that. Like, everything basically. You could have done this as a single issue and that whole thing where Deadpool regenerates from the whatever in a single issue. You didn't need even this whole story. You could have just had a regular issue of Wolverine where Deadpool shows up and they fight the Hulk and Deadpool gets smashed and then his blood regenerates in Wolverine and then 32 pages later you don't even have to care that there's no ending because there's going to be another issue after that.
This is why. Another tie-in thing for this and why comic books don't sell as well. There's another guy that where it was something I had read on Twitter where this guy said he's not going to carry new weekly titles anymore. Keep in mind, this series fell off a cliff, a complete cliff. Yeah.
Why would you carry new? Why would you? In all honesty, I mean, I've always wanted to open my own bookstore, but I wouldn't have new comics. I'd have old stuff. I'd have old books. I'd have old comics. I'd have old media. I'd just have that. There's enough of it. There's so much of it that I could still have plenty of shit to sell for people. And if I manage to actually curate shit that people are interested in, maybe I could do all right. I don't know. I don't know if the market's back there
I wanted to make sure I checked the number. So for ICV2, Deadpool Wolverine, WW3, issue 3 was number 12. I know I said number 26 early on. Whatever, doesn't matter. It's better than I thought, but it's like...
Maybe issue 2 was 28. I don't know.
Sure felt like it 28. No, it's just... I could... if you're a store owner, how can you sell this stuff? This stuff is... I know this apparently was bought by stores, and I know it was sold, but like no one's been.
You can still find it on the shelf.
That's the thing. This was bought for the art. You know how people say now that people that buy comics now are not buying for the stories; they're just buying for art. Here, you just bought this for the cover. You didn't actually read this. If you read this, if anyone read any of these stories, this series would not be as high as it was. There's no way. You just bought this for the art. The cover, the covers were actually pretty good. I will give them that.
What's wild as big. I still stand by the idea that as big as the movie is, that should have been bigger than a number 12. The movie's
Oh,
huge. How is
yeah,
that not flying off the shelf? How is everybody not picking that up?
it's true. Yeah.
You know, this is the
Well,
thing. I don't think that maybe today movies don't actually drive comic sales anymore. I mean, that's what Marvel had always hoped back in the day, that doing these Avengers films were going to drive their comic sales. And what happened to Marvel Comics over the lifespan of the MCU? It dried the fuck up. So
well, that's the thing is, for most people, the reason why they even know the characters is because of like the movies and the TVs and the animations. The
yeah,
comics were always, what's weird is it starts in comics, but the comics have always been kind of second fiddle compared to the movies and TV and animation, because it's much more easier to get the average person into an animation or a TV show than it is like, the comic book, which is so weird because if something happens for characters like Miles Morales, if people really like them, and it's like, you like Miles Morales a lot, yeah, you could just read his comics every month. Oh, no, they don't do that because he's not really actually liked in terms of comics. He's only liked because of movies, because that's how people really get into the stuff, which is fine, but you can tell there's no synergy and correlation between movies and television, especially with like tie-in stuff like this. And I'll ask you your final thoughts. Any final thoughts you want to say on this at all, actually?
well, much like the book itself, nah.
uh okay, yeah. And as for me, as you guys know, we went through this 3-part miniseries. So you guys, I know a lot of you guys out there are Deadpool Wolverine fans, such as myself.
I am too. I love the characters. They just
And
this wasn't their best moment.
and as you guys know, if I'm
Actually,
gonna review, if I'm gonna review like floppies or anything like that, it's gonna be a range of like 3-part to 5-part miniseries, because time and everything. Like reviewing longer running series is always a task, and if I probably haven't done it within like the first 3 issues, I'm probably gonna wait for the trade. This series right here is a wait for trade, and I would say don't even get that. You could just, if you have these, literally go outside, get some wood,
see, bro.
put these on top, get a match, and just toss that shit on there, ablaze.
Yeah.
Issue 1 was just not good. Issue 2 is the best one, but even that one is meh. This is just straight up trash. I'm sorry, this is just bad. This is trash, honestly.
It's sad too, because it's such a
They had some cool ideas here, I would say. Some cool ideas.
yeah, they're really cool ideas. Some of the best like ideas that they had in the series, the most creative shit that they did, but just like fucking just not ending the book.
Just ending on that
Not
note
ending
feels
the
so.
story at all. Like
They ended on like a weird cliffhanger. No, they ended off on like this weird cliffhanger that doesn't even feel like an actual ending. It's like, and
yeah,
this thing,
you don't even know if the villain's ever going to be around again. Like, you don't know
just,
what the hell.
well, that's the problem with this only being 3 parts, and it's like, I'm gonna be honest here. After this, I don't know what August sales would have been like for this book. People would have, given how bad this is, issue 4 would have just tanked. Honestly, they knew their bread was buttered at issue 3. I like, in my head, would I have wanted a 4 and 5 issue? Maybe not. Probably not. If you're asking me,
Well,
after this,
if
this was an ongoing series, I would have just dropped it. Honestly,
if it had 5 issues, issue 1 probably wouldn't have been so bad, because issue 1 was them trying to cram together 2 whole fucking issues. Issue 1 was parts of issue 1 and parts of issue 2. And they sewed them together out of bits and pieces of the story, where they chopped out a bunch of the rest of it. And that's been the whole problem with the whole series. Even here, you just left the actual ending on the editing room floor, and you went for a the jump end kind of thing, the action jump sequence thing, as opposed to fucking the jump hanger, whatever you want to call it.
And with that being said, if you guys know, we are going to be reviewing Gooding the Polymath next as a comic book. And before that happens, you guys will have watched the channel update video. I am going to be obviously reviewing the Ripazine #1, and then it'll be in order to review Gooding the Polymath coming up, actually. Is there any, and then I think that's pretty much it as far as like comics are going. But I may actually have sex with my girl, with my wife. I'm just kidding. I'm joking. I entertain people. God damn it. But yes, as far as Deadpool Wolverine, WW3 as a miniseries, complete trash, garbage. I can fully believe why
Not a good
stores
example of the writer at all, or
yeah,
the
yeah.
character.
I can fully understand why stores can't sell this garbage. It's just so bad. I'm sorry, it's just trash. You can't sell that to people. That's just dog shit. People, this was only bought for the art. You didn't read this. No way you read this and were like, man, I gotta get issues 2 and 3. Because if you read this, you'd be like, damn. But so everyone goes, no, check out Professor Savage Dad's YouTube or Rumble or Twitter, whatever I'm going to link in the description box below. If you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video or go live. I'm MSK, aka Master Swag King, and we're signing out, guys. Peace.